So today we are going to be investigating tic-tac but no toe. So for each box, we want to find the relationship that the two numbers on the right have with the two numbers on the left. And then you can record your findings in the table below. So if we look at this tic-tac but no toe, we want to look at the right two numbers. So if we look at the first box here, we're looking at 10 and -9 and how they relate. Sorry about that. And how 10 and -9 relate to those numbers on the left. So if we look on the left, we have the number -90 and we have the number 1. Well, I know that 10 minus 9 is equal to 1, so that's something that could be a pattern. And to get -90, I could multiply 10 and 9. So let's see if this works for all of my boxes here. So in this one, on the right, we have a -6 and a -6. Two negatives multiplied together create a positive number. So that would be a positive 36, which is what we are getting in that top left box, which is the same pattern as the first one we looked at. And if we added these together, -6 plus a -6 is equal to a -12. So our pattern still holds true for our second box. Let's look at our third. -6 times -6 does equal -36. And if I add them together, -6 plus 6 does equal 0. So our pattern holds true there as well. If we continue on and check, you will notice that all of these follow the same pattern. -6 times 5 is a -30. -6 plus 5 is a -1. We look here, -3 times 2 is a -6, and -3 plus 2 is a -1. This box, we have 7 times a -7, which is a -49, and 7 plus a -7 is 0. We keep going. 30 times 4 does equal 120, and 30 plus 4 is equal to 34. Then we have 9 times -9, which is a -81, and 9 plus a -9 is equal to 0. -6 times a -4 is equal to 24. -6 plus a -4 is a -10. -7 times -7 is a -49. We add them together. -7 plus -7 does in fact equal -14. And we have 24 times a -3, which does equal -72. And 24 minus 3 is equal to 21. Lastly, we have 4 times 4, which is 16, and 4 plus 4 equals 8. So this pattern holds true for every single one of these boxes. So we found that the two numbers on the right multiply together to get the top left number. And the two numbers on the right add together to get the bottom left number. And as we just went through all of them, yes, this is the pattern every time. So if you look down into our notes here, tic-tac but no toe. So in the 2 by 2 squares, the numbers on the right multiply to the number in the top left, and they also add together to the number in the bottom left. So if we are given a tic-tac but no toe board with the right boxes empty, we would be able to fill them in ourselves. The first step would be to list out the factors of that top left box. Once we know the factors, we can determine which of them add together to get our number in the bottom left. Once we have those numbers, we can plug them into the box and we can always check our work. So I have an example here. So on the left side, I have 25 in the top box and I have -10 in the bottom left. So I know I need to find factors of 25. So I listed them out here. We have 25 times 1. We have -25 times a -1. We have a +5 times a +5. And we have a -5 times a -5. So my next step is to see which ones add to -10. Well, 25 plus 1 is 26. -25 plus a -1 is a -26. So we know those two aren't working. 5 plus 5 is a +10. Also not what we want. We're looking for -10. But -5 plus -5 equals -10, which means the factors we want to use to fill up our empty boxes are both -5. So I can go ahead and plug them in. And I want to check my work. Let's look. -5 times -5 does equal 25. And -5 plus 5 equals -10. So we know we did it correctly. Here is another example. We have -30 in our top left and 7 in our bottom left. So I want to start out by figuring out the factors of 30. 30 times factors of -30 is what we should have here. So 30 times -1, -30 times +1, -15 times 2, +15 times 2, -10 times 3, +10 times -3, +5 times -6, and -5 times +6 are all our factors of -30. So now I want to see which ones add to 7. Go through them all, and we can see that 10 plus a -3 is equal to 7. So I know in my box I can fill in a 10 and a -3. I can go ahead and check my work again. 10 times a -3 is -30, and 10 minus 3 does equal 7. So we know we did it correctly. Now, sometimes the factors will jump out to you, and you might not always have to list them all out. But if you're getting confused, listing all the factors out is the best way to go, and then figuring out which ones add to get the bottom left.